Today on an all-new Dr. Phil. She's run away.
My straight-A student daughter was charged with grand theft auto.
Over 100 times.
You say he's chained her ankles together with a padlock.
But is their daughter?
She's 14 dating a 17-year-old.
I know better now. I did not know better then.
Bull.
The only one acting out.
You have been abusive with my staff, making kissy faces towards the makeup artist. Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
Today's going to be a changing day in your life.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. Very important work to do today. Cynthia says she always had a close relationship with her 15-year-old daughter, Sadara, from the time she was a little girl. But all that changed 3 years ago after Cynthia, her husband Robert, and Sadara left Michigan to start anew in Florida. Cynthia says her once sweet child turned into a mouthy runaway. Now, Sadara's behavior soon escalated to swiping things from stores, stealing approximately $30,000 worth of valuables from the family safe, stealing Cynthia's car not once, not twice, but 3 times, and then stealing the neighbor's car, which ended up in a drunken police chase and created 9 months in juvenile detention. Now, the list goes on, and her parents say they've had enough.
My 15-year-old daughter is completely out of control. My daughter's life has become a parent's worst nightmare.
My daughter's destroying everything that we've tried to do, and she just doesn't care. From one day to the next, I don't know if she's going to be found dead or alive.
2 years ago, we had moved from one state to another. She became isolated and withdrawn.
Sadara absolutely started hanging out with the wrong crowd.
She started drinking, smoking pot, and running away from home.
My straight-A student daughter is now at this point of her life basically a dropout. I believe the last full grade she completed was the 7th grade. Sadara has run away over 100 times.
She would stay in abandoned homes with drug dealers.
Sadara says she can support herself, but all she does is steal things and cons people to support herself. Sadara and her friends took about 30 grand worth of our valuables right from our own house. Inside the safe was jewelry, 2 handguns that were loaded. The SWAT team stormed the house because there were guns involved.
She had taken my car and then wrecked it. She caused over $5,000 worth of damage. Earlier this year, she even stole our neighbor's vehicle. She had been drinking and led the police on a high-speed chase. Sadara hit 3 parked cars and fled the scene.
She was arrested and charged with grand theft auto, and that is a felony. She spent 9 months in juvenile detention. While she was locked up, at least I knew she was safe. I knew where she was at night.
As a mother, I don't know what to do or what to say.
We have tried everything we can to get this child's behavior under control. We've called the police over 100 times on her. If you print out the police report, it's pages long. One more slip up from Sadara and she can end up dead or behind bars for us for life.
And I'm absolutely terrified of what might happen next.
And well, she should be. Robert says Cynthia is the problem, claiming she is more a friend than a parent. But Cynthia says Robert, who legally adopted Sadara as a child, does not know how it feels to have a biological child and is just simply too strict. He's gone so far as to lock their daughter out of the house and chain her legs together with padlocks. Take a look.
When it comes to parenting, my wife and I are very different.
I would describe Robert's parenting style as a no-nonsense disciplinarian.
When I say no, I mean no. Cindy will say no and eventually say yes.
I just give in to her.
My wife thinks I'm too tough on my daughter.
Robert loses it and demands that our daughter acts appropriate all the time.
I will call Sadara on her stuff, but Cindy just wants to coddle her. She lets Sadara do what she wants. It drives me nuts.
The way he parents, I sometimes think that it affects her self-esteem and it makes her act out even more.
Nothing scares her. We put motion sensors in the house.
And she takes out the batteries.
We've screwed the window shut and she'll find a screwdriver and unscrew the window.
We even put loose chains around her ankles so she couldn't take her pajamas off and get her jeans on to go out.
My little girl needs to straighten up her act, and if it's getting her butt kicked, that's what she needs. I don't want to mess around. I'm done arguing with a child. I want Sadara to answer for what she's done wrong.
Robert got so fed up, he moved out of the house about 4 months ago.
Because I did not want to deal with the issues with my daughter.
I have to admit, it's very difficult to parent Sadara, but if it comes down to it, and I have to choose between my marriage and my daughter, I'm going to choose my daughter.
All right, I'm glad you guys are here because this situation is spiraling out of control, right?
Correct.
Absolutely.
How many times have the police been called?
Over 150 times.
Yeah.
You have very different attitudes about parenting, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
And you think he is way too harsh.
Yes, definitely.
And you think she is way too...
Lenient.
I made a list of the things you told us that you thought crossed the line here. One, you say that he's chained her ankles together with a padlock. Have you shackled this child, her ankles?
Yeah. She could walk around, but it made her limited for her running away at night so we could sleep. I put a chain on her that was about 10 foot long, and she had to drag this chain around. It wasn't chained to anything but to her. But it would make noise so we could hear her going across the tile floor. Well, she found a way to pull it up through her pants, and Mom caught her going down the road at 2 in the morning. She's heading down to Taco Bell to see her friends. And the police tell us to do whatever we can to keep her there. So we've locked her window, we've locked her doors. I've done everything I can to keep her from leaving.
I did not like it from the get-go. I did not want it to
Well, that's
happen.
moronic. The police told you that. That's moronic.
Yeah.
They need to police and not parent. Okay?
Looking back,
So when you say cut her hair as punishment, what do you mean cut her hair as punishment?
yeah, she wouldn't tell us where she was. And she says, well, you can't take nothing else from me, you know. And I says, well, I'll take your hair. And I cut a little piece off the back of her hair underneath. I didn't cut her hair off. You couldn't even notice it with her hair.
It was a chunk off her back.
Yeah, a little.
For a
you know.
girl, that's very traumatic, and that's what he's not understanding. And he was willing to
and I was wrong.
Continue to cut until he got the answer he wanted.
Does he call her names?
He does.
What?
He's called her a bitch. He's called her a whore. He's called her a tramp. He just tells her she's a piece of He has chipped away at her self-esteem, and that's why my daughter is where she's at.
What is your objective in calling her these names?
I will tell her to get off her fat ass. I've never called her fat. She comes home, she lays around, she doesn't want to contribute, she doesn't want to help around the house.
Have you called her a bitch?
Yes.
Called her a whore?
I said you're out whoring it, and I have never called her a whore.
What's your objective in labeling her in this way? You think she's...
Frustration.
So it's not meant to change her, it's you're venting.
Yeah, I would say so.
You try to compensate for this?
I do. Because I, as a girl and as a mom, know emotionally what this is doing to my daughter.
And what is that?
It's tearing her apart. It's making her feel like her life is worthless and not worth living, and that she's looking for a father figure. She's lost every male figure in her life. And this is not what she needs. She needs somebody to help comfort her and guide her.
But you've allowed this to go on.
I have.
And then when she does something that you know is clearly wrong, did she steal a phone?
She stole hundreds of phones.
Yeah, and one particular phone was like a $500 smartphone, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I made a list of the behaviors that I consider to be really enabling behaviors. One, paid $500 for a stolen phone, allowed her to keep the stolen phone, gives birthday, holiday gifts, admits no follow-through with punishment, no demands on finishing chores. You paid for the ambulance. You called the police over 150 times. They're not going to parent your child. I'm sure they've told you this at
I
some
know they're
point.
not. I know that.
You cover for her. You fail to consecrate the behavior. You just kind of let it slide. Because you're trying to make up for him being so overly aggressive.
Yes, when it comes down to it.
So Dara says her father is like a prison guard who bullies her and makes her feel worthless. Well, we'll ask her about that after the break.
I got mixed up with the wrong crowd seeking attention since I wasn't finding it in my home. When it comes to my dad, we don't get along at all. I feel that he's more of a prison guard towards me. My mom most of the time would side with my dad, or she wouldn't say anything at all. Getting into trouble for me is definitely an addiction.
And later, you think she's trying to drive a wedge between the two of you on purpose.
Yes,
Every time he ran away from the house and just disappeared, it actually hurt me.
which I don't believe.
Since Robert moved out, there's been a few times where we've hardly even spoken.
Sadara is driving a wedge in between us, and she knows she is. Dad's out of the picture. I can get what I want with Mom.
I even went as far as mailing him my wedding ring.
I opened the package up. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what to do.
I felt that he didn't want to help me get to the bottom of this and fix this, and I wanted him to know that I was serious.
Cynthia and Robert are currently separated because they're at odds over parenting their 15-year-old daughter. Sadara, who was just released from a juvenile facility for breaking her probation, is also here. Now, a week ago, Cynthia and transporter Michael Montreal from Safe Youth Interventions went to pick up Sadara and bring her to meet with me. Take a look.
My daughter Sadara has been here for 3 weeks for burglary charges and resisting arrest. I'm about to get her out from the juvenile detention center. I'm going to tell her that we're on our way to Los Angeles, that we're traveling with the transporters to go talk to Dr. Phil. Thank you. We're going to Los Angeles to talk to Dr. Phil.
I'm Mike. This is Laura.
Nice to meet you.
Dr. Phil would really like to talk to you. He really thinks he can help you. You're coming with us, and your mom's coming with your dad.
Me too. Crazy. A little nervous, but I'm excited at the same time. It's a new chance. I was having a panic attack earlier because of just family problems. I've been trying to fix my family for years.
I'm afraid for my daughter. I'm afraid for her safety. I'm afraid for her future. Hopefully Dr. Phil can get her the help she needs.
Well, Sadara is currently not in school. She smokes, drinks, she's stolen cars, even broken into the family home to steal a safe full of valuables worth about $30,000. A lot of those were heirlooms that meant a lot to Robert, by the way. Sadara says she gets an adrenaline rush from her life of crime.
I'm 15 years old and I've definitely had my share of problems. I was 12 years old when we moved. It was a big change. I definitely felt very distant from my parents. They were too busy working while I was home alone or outside trying to find friends. It seemed like my dad was always on my case. He was definitely very disrespectful towards me. My father called me a lot of names, from fat bitch to a lazy whore. My mom most of the time would side with my dad, or she wouldn't say anything at all. I felt degraded and worthless. I felt like I had no value in the family. I got mixed up with the wrong crowd seeking attention since I wasn't finding it in my home. A lot of the people that I became friends with when I moved were drug addicts or partiers. There was lots of drugs, such as Xanax and Vicodin and oxycodone. I've tried meth, acid, weed, and alcohol. My friends taught me how to steal phones, so when I wasn't allowed to have one, I'd get one for myself, and the others I'd sell for money. I wanted to steal my dad's safe from him so he could feel a similar hurt to what I felt when my mom was giving him more attention than she was me. Getting into trouble for me is definitely an addiction. It's something that I feel I cannot stop without any type of help. At the moment, I feel very distant from both my parents. When it comes to my dad, we don't get along at all. My father's always angry. He has a very negative attitude and he's very resentful. He yells at me and he's very demanding when he comes to ask for me to do something. In my eyes, my father is not a father. He doesn't know how to love or nurture a child. I feel that he's more of a prison guard towards me and only talks to me when there's a chore to be done. I want to stay out of trouble, I definitely do. I'm tired of being in and out of jail. I feel that I need some type of help or more support from my family. My biggest fear is, what if I go back to the only thing that I already know?
Well, Sadara, I'm glad you're here.
I am too.
You said something that you and I are going to agree on right off the bat, and that is you want to see your family get help. And I want to tell you up front, I do not believe this is a Sadara problem. I believe this is a family problem.
Of course.
Your behavior is outrageous.
Of course.
It is risky, it is dangerous. It's going to wind up with you in jail or worse if it doesn't change. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But that is just that. It's the squeaky wheel. This is a product of this family.
Where I'm at now was not my intention at all. I mean, I didn't wake up one day and say, I want to go and steal my neighbor's car. I want to go, be a criminal, ending up in and out of jail. It kind of just happened from me feeling the lack of attention in my home.
Let's just take a look at a list of some of Cynthia and Robert's calls to the police from their home. This is just from 2015 to 2017. There's pages and pages. Runaway juvenile called 30 times. Request for officer called 10 times. Theft called 6 times. Area check 6 times. Secure juvenile 3 times. Transport for mental called 3 times. It just goes on and on and on. And in fact, this all kind of culminated at one point with a SWAT team actually raiding a home that you were in with stolen property and guns.
Yeah. I wanted my dad to feel a similar hurt to what I felt when he took my mother's attention away from me, because I feel like she was more distracted by him than she was by me. And overall, I did get the type of hurt I wanted out of it, but it also hurt my mother, and that broke my heart. I apologize to my mom almost every time I see her.
She says she's sorry and that she knows that she hurt me, yet she still continues to do these things.
Why do you suppose that is?
I don't know.
Well,
Nothing's changed.
do you suppose anything that's driving that behavior has changed?
No. But he has left the home multiple times in the past 2 years because of her behavior.
I'm scared to death of her.
Because we can't be together
You're scared of me?
as a family.
Yeah, I'm scared of you.
You're
Why are
scared
you
of me.
scared of her?
Because you can just say whatever you want, do whatever you want.
You say
and I'm the
whatever
one
you want.
And I'm the one that's going to take the fall and go to jail over something that you might say or do.
Such as?
I've went to jail every time. I've been the one who gets called all the names. You don't get anything out of this.
You say you're sorry,
that's
you're not. You say you're changing, you're not.
I need
you say
help
you didn't
to
steal
change. I
anything.
can't change
You
on my
did.
own. You obviously haven't changed at all.
What are you afraid she's going to say?
She says she will do whatever it takes.
I did say that at one point that I would do whatever it takes to stay in Florida and to get my parents apart, because
Yep.
I do not like him. He treats me like I mean nothing to him.
All right, well, coming up, Robert claims that Sadara is not this poor victim of a traumatic childhood, but rather a smart and calculating person who needs to be stopped when she acts out. So which is it? We're going to talk about that when we get back. Now, you're 14,
Yes.
and you're dating a 17-year-old boy.
I didn't know what I was doing.
She knew what she was doing.
Are you kidding me?
What I'm saying is she was raised right. She knows right from wrong.
She was raised right. We'll get to that. And later, are you coming here seeking solutions?
I'm here because I want to save my daughter's life. That's why I'm here.
You haven't conducted yourself since you've been here in such a way that makes me think you're taking this seriously.
Sadara manipulates everybody in her life.
She definitely knows how to play people.
I know what to do and what to say to be able to get what I want.
Teachers, police, school counselors, probation officers.
My daughter, Sadara, plays my husband, Robert, and I against each other. If I give in to something that my husband, Robert, wants, Sadara will tell me that I'm choosing my husband over her.
If I want to do something or I want to get something, I definitely can.
I think it's just going to have to stop right now. I've had enough of it.
You think that she's trying to drive a wedge between the two of you on purpose?
Yes.
I have tried to separate them because I thought that would be what was easier. And then when I realized every time he ran away from the house and just disappeared, it actually hurt me. But
Which I don't believe.
But she said if we
he
were
doesn't
going
believe
right back
anything
to
I
Michigan.
say.
No,
if we
because
were
you don't
going
want
right
me
back
there,
to
Sadara.
Michigan, that you were going to take off if we were going back to where Dad was
Because you
staying.
can't play me like you
Because
play
you don't
Mom.
want to be
Well,
with him.
I've tried to figure this. I created a timeline to try to figure out what the sequence of events was here, if there was something that triggered this whole thing. And in the years prior to 2008, you were subjected to some very confusing and traumatic events, not just once, but
Multiple
twice, and
times.
it extended across a long period of time. And I haven't seen any evidence of resolution to that coming
None
to
at
be. Then in 2008, then Robert adopts. Then we're jumping now to age 13. In 2014, Robert, Cynthia, and Sadara move to Florida from Michigan. And now it's about this time in December 14 at age 13 that you run away, sneak out, does drugs, and start stealing from stores.
That was 2015's December.
Okay, we're going to get there. There's a bridge here. Okay, I'll just put this up at the same time. Okay, you meet a 17-year-old boyfriend at this time as well.
Correct.
Now, you're 14.
Yes.
And you're dating a 17-year-old boy.
I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't.
Okay,
it was a mistake that...
What
She knew what she was doing. You always
were
say
not
you don't know
listening to
better.
us.
You are one of the
I know
smartest.
better now. I did not know better then.
Bull, you are the smartest person that you're one of the smartest kids that I know.
I can't believe my ears.
Huh?
You're 14. You know what you're doing. Are you kidding me?
What I'm saying is she was raised right. She knows right from wrong.
She was raised right. We'll get to that. She's 14 dating a 17-year-old. Where the hell are her parents?
Not by us. No,
Not
we
by
were
us.
totally.
No.
She was not dating him.
She
Not
snuck
willingly
out
by
at
us.
2 o'clock in the morning on this. We didn't even know about him until the police
This
called
is
6
why
in the
she was
morning.
running
It's
away.
your job to know.
That's why she was chained, and
That's
we were
why
trying to
she
do
was-
everything. We got police involved.
See?
Every time we could, we got police involved, and they told us they could not do anything about that situation.
This is when the SWAT raid happens. There's guns involved. Then October, damage to mom's car. November 16, steals mom's car 3 times. House arrest 21 days. Now we're into 17. Steals a neighbor's car, goes on drunken police chase, totals the car, crashing into 3 other cars. 9 months detention.
Yes.
Yeah,
But
at least
you got
we were
out
safe.
and ran away.
Yes.
Okay, which is a violation of probation. So there's a burglary charge. You run away for a few days, and 21 days detention for violation of probation that you were on for this stint
Yes, sir.
over here, which brings us to now when you're released from the juvenile facility and get here.
Yes, sir. I don't know what else to do when I feel like my family's not working.
Listen to what we're saying.
Don't blame it on us
No,
again.
because it comes down to why do you think I'm running? It's because I don't want to stay home because I don't feel like I have a family.
So you ran the first time because you were looking for what?
Attention and a home because I didn't feel at home.
What do you think's going to happen if you keep doing this?
I'm going to end up in jail and I'm not going to be released in 21 days or 9 months. And I'm afraid of that. I don't want to be this child. This is not my future.
Well, Sadara says her father's punishment for her bad behavior, like chaining her up at the ankles, never works. We're going to talk about that next, and I'm going to add somebody to this conversation that Sadara needs to hear from. And then we're going to start talking about what I think needs to happen. We'll be right back. Closed captioning provided by...
I can't even count the number of times our daughter's been in trouble with the law.
If she gets into trouble, the most that happens to her, they lock her up for 21 days and they set a trial date. She knows they're not going to do anything to her.
I can do what I want, as I want, how I please, because it is my life, and at the end of the day, I have to face the consequences that nobody else does.
I think Sadara feels that she's above the law.
I don't know who or what it will take to let her know that she's playing with fire.
Retired Macomb County, Michigan Circuit Judge Mary Ann Shanowski is also known as Scary Mary.
I've heard of her.
She's known as Scary Mary for a reason. She has dealt with the toughest criminals in her courtroom, and she has seen it all. Take a look.
Well, what makes me different than any other judge? I'm very blunt. If you want the truth, go ask Judge Mary. It doesn't work that way. It's not in this courtroom. Stop with the litany of the things that you've been doing, and that includes you, Mom. You're not going to like it sometime, but that's just who I am. The people standing in front of me started their drug use, whether it be simply by smoking marijuana or they became addicted to prescription drugs. And then here they are, standing in front of a circuit judge. Possession of cocaine, possession of heroin, and then you steal to feed that addiction. And I understand what you're going through because I am an alcoholic. I nearly killed my mother in an auto accident. She had probably over 50, 60 stitches across her forehead, and I had to see that scar every day of my life all the way until the time when she was in her casket. That is something that I'll never forget. I stopped drinking when my mom died. It was time for me to take control of my own life and help other people. It will be 15 years of sobriety for me. I don't want to put you in prison. I want you to be a good person and enjoy life. If you didn't help yourself, I had to lower the gavel, and that's when I became tough. If you want my help, you've got to be honest with me. So who is going to win this? I'm going to win.
Well, retired Macomb County, Michigan Circuit Judge Mary Ann Shanowski is joining us now. Scary Mary, I ask you to be here for a reason. I care why she is doing what she is doing, but she is turning 16, and very soon she's going to come up against somebody that doesn't care why, they only care what she is doing. What's ahead for her if she stays on this current route?
You know, that juvenile detention center that she hated so much, that was a country club. And now, young lady, the next crime you commit, and I'm hoping it doesn't happen, you're a big girl now. I'm 16. You're going to end up in the county jail when you commit a crime. You're going to be in a room at the pool of people, vomiting, going through withdrawals, defecating on the floor, peeing on the floor. You're going to have women yelling at you. If the crime's serious enough, then you go to the state prison system. You know, the most impressive thing I read about you was the fact that you want to be a nurse. Oh my gosh, that's great. I need you. Dr. Phil will need you. We all are going to need you at some point. How are you going to get there? I want you to get that license, but you're not going to get it with a felony.
Of course not.
Well, Judge, when that next crime happens, and she's got some pending now, I mean, this could go bad in a hurry, but when that big hammer drops, you're not going to be able to find those friends with both hands.
Oh, no.
Because they're going to scatter like rats when you turn the lights on. They're going to be gone, and then she's going to big girl jail, and then she's gone for like 10 years.
Yes.
And you come out of there a whole lot different than you go in.
Absolutely.
And what we're trying to do is tell you that needs to change right now. And I'm talking to you because the only person you control is you.
I want to change myself. I just don't know how because I've gotten so far down this path. I know it starts off with not doing that stuff, but it's also trying to get away from just the life in general and finding out how to care again. Because I'm so lost.
Go right back to the life as soon as you have a chance. You still phone and get a hold of these people every chance you get.
I don't know what else to do.
You do what we tell you to do.
It's not like that because you don't. You're not supportive. You're not.
Then why do you call me and talk to me and try to tell me what's wrong instead of mom?
Because I want a relationship with you. That's why you think that I'm trying to push you away. Obviously, I'm not when I'm still calling you.
You tell me things that you don't tell mom because you want to hear what I think. And I tell you because I know I've been there.
And that's where you need to hone in on what she's telling you. She has straight up told you exactly what she needs and exactly how she feels.
And you don't give it to me.
And it goes right over your head.
That does not sound to me like the conduct of somebody that's saying, I'm here to, quote, save my daughter's life.
Well, you can twist anything you want to.
Closed captioning provided by... Why are you not asking what you can do differently to change this situation? Are you taking this seriously?
Yes.
Are you coming here seeking solutions?
I'm here because I want to save my daughter's life. That's why I'm here.
You haven't conducted yourself since you've been here in such a way that makes me think you're taking this seriously.
I'm taking this dead seriously because I know what life she's going down.
And I'm questioning that because your conduct since you have been here does not suggest to me that you're taking it seriously.
I am taking it seriously.
You have been disrespectful with my staff. You have been abusive with my staff since you've been here.
And I apologize.
You told segment director John before the tape shoot, not to offend anybody, but that shirt is gay. I actually don't care if I offend anyone. And then you laughed.
Yeah, that's totally taken out of context,
Then you repeatedly leaned in towards the makeup artist, Margot, making kissy faces.
And she leaned back against me, too, so...
Yeah,
it goes both ways, Dr. Phil.
Then you told the makeup artist, you can touch it. Just the... You want to deny that?
Nope.
call that okay.
We were talking about my tattoo.
But it was meant to be a provocative joke. I even picked up on that, and I'm about
how I am.
That is my husband's normal, and that's what Sadara has known since
They gave me this.
6 years old.
They gave me a light blue shirt, a powder blue shirt.
Okay to me.
And about the
At the age of 10, you told me about my parents' sex life.
And that the actually I don't care if I offend anyone was taken out of a totally different conversation when they're covered up all my tattoos.
And then the studio PA actually came to all the co-workers and said she felt because of your actions that you should not be left alone with any female employees.
Oh, okay.
I'm now on notice of your conduct. I can't put them in harm's way.
They were never in harm's way.
That does not sound to me like the conduct of somebody that's saying, I'm here to, quote, save my daughter's life.
Well, you can twist anything you want to.
How is that twisted?
Because the way that everything is set up there, it's not even the same conversations.
Put it in context for me.
They gave me a powder blue shirt. I said it's a gay shirt. You can't say anything nowadays without offending somebody. Everybody is being coddled. These kids don't have to learn anything nowadays. Everybody is tiptoeing around every little subject because everybody's afraid to offend somebody. Why can't people just be who they are and people learn how to deal with things?
Like calling your daughter a fat ass or a bitch or whatever.
Trying to get off her fat ass, yeah.
What if, despite your arrogant attitude about, I'll just tell people whatever they want, people just being coddled, blah, 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 blah. What if you're dead wrong? What if your attitude is contributing to the problems that you're experiencing with your daughter? What if your relationship with her is making her vulnerable to any guy out there that'll come along, blow in her ear and tell her what she wants to hear because she is hungry for male acceptance?
I'm sure that is part of it, yes. I'm sure it is.
So what's really going on here between this father, this daughter? What's going on in this daughter's head? Because you can say, okay, so she's got conflict in her family. How does that lead to stealing a car and running from the police? How does that turn into that? I'm going to answer that for you, and more importantly, I'm going to answer it for Sadara here. We'll be right back.
I miss the wonderful, bubbly girl that she used to be. I would love to have my daughter Sadara back.
Sadara hasn't always been like this. She was an honors class student, straight A's, highly intelligent. It breaks my heart to see somebody with so much potential not living up to it.
If things don't change and her life continues to spiral in this direction, I fear that I'm going to get a phone call that she's dead.
My greatest fear is that the next time I get in trouble, I may not be able to wiggle my way around them, and I'll end up sitting in jail for the rest of my life. I'm tired of hurting everyone else, including myself.
Your personality is really key here. A lot of research says your personality is formed by the age of 7. And that by that time, it's pretty static and it doesn't change. Some people say that at 30 you can still have some fluidity, but a lot of people say that by the time you're 7, your core personality is pretty set. And there are 5 characteristics to that personality. Openness, just kind of how open you are to the world, to new ideas, and that tends to decline in both men and women with age. And then the second one is conscientiousness. And that increases for both men and women in the 20s. You become more organized, more planful, more attentive to things in your 20s. And then the third one is extroversion. And it's higher with young women, but it declines with age. And then next is agreeableness. And that increases with men and women in their 30s, because you're kind of through raging against the machine. And then next is neuroticism, alienation, morale, and satisfaction. And those are situational. Okay? Now, right now, alienation is very high for you, right?
Yes, sir.
That's a big part of your personality. You're alienated from your family, You're alienated from school. You're alienated from the world.
From myself even, I feel.
Come with me. All right, first, the first 5 to 7 years were really unstable for you.
Yes.
Abandonment and confusion.
Yes, sir.
And one thing you wanted at that point was you really wanted a father.
Yes.
At 7, you're adopted by Robert, and you hope that you get a father figure, but instead you get an abusive, authoritarian disciplinarian.
Yes.
This became critical for you, and you hoped to get it here when this happened, but it didn't. You start to feel powerless because your mother, in your words, is distracted.
Yes.
And she's not protecting you against all of this. And that's when all of this starts. And you guys wonder why she's doing the things she's doing. That's why she's doing it. You start doing high-risk behaviors. Because let's face it, what do you have to lose?
Nothing.
You feel devalued. These are words out of your mouth.
Yes.
She deserves a family, so I will leave if I have to so she can be happy. That's what you said.
And I still beat it.
The street becomes your comfort zone. Your comfort zone is danger. So you get diagnosed with ODD, depression, bipolar, and PTSD. No treatment, but jail.
It's correct in every way. And I know I need to change, definitely.
But I want you to understand one thing. At least one person in your life has taken the time not to judge you, but to figure you out.
Yeah.
I'm not judging you. I'm trying to figure this out.
And I thank you for that.
Well, we're going to take a break, and then we're going to talk about what that means.
Thank you.
Okay? All right. Closed captioning provided by you two. You have a highly dysfunctional marriage. There needs to be a lot of redefinition and a lot of healing that goes on before you dive back into this, if you ever do, or it will fail miserably.
I know, and that's what I'm afraid of.
You two need a lot of help. Mm-hmm. And I'm saying I'm willing to arrange for that, and I mean immediately, like tomorrow when you get home, start getting you professional help with that if you're willing to do it.
Absolutely.
For you, I'll do the same thing. I strongly recommend you take a break.
I would like to take anything that you offer to me because I feel it. I need it. I do.
Well, we've asked our friends at Turnabout Ranch if they could help, and here's what they had to say.
The mission statement for Turnabout Ranch is real ranch, real values, and real change. And I think why Turnabout Ranch is so effective, kind of like a three-legged stool. There's academics, there's therapy, and then there's the ranch life. And the ranch life is going to teach her lots of great things. She's going to have an opportunity to be able to be on the ranch and learn in nature. There are things that you have to respect whether you want to or not. So she's going to learn that respect naturally, in addition to having good staff that are going to hold boundaries and expect her to follow the rules.
And if you two aren't willing to work at least as hard while she's gone as she is while she's gone, then it's all for naught.
I'm willing to do whatever it takes.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Robert? All right. I want to thank all of my guests today, including my good friend, retired circuit judge, Mary Ann Shanowski. Thank you so much. Executive Director Michelle Lindsay from Turnabout Ranch, as well as Michael and Laura Montreal from Safe Youth Interventions for offering resources for Sedera's recovery. We'll see you next time. Okay. So, how do you guys feel about New Year's resolutions? Let's start something new, right? And I think it's a great time to make a commitment to take care of yourselves for 2018. So, give them a jump start.
Okay, I sure will. Since it's a new year, this is a great time to put yourself at the top of the list and resolve to take care of yourself and your skin. Today, I have 2 products to help make that easier. Let There Be Bright. It's something you use in the morning after cleansing, but before your moisturizer. It hydrates your skin, which is so important. And then Starlight Face Bright. It's a triple action brightening night cream. So you use it after cleansing, it helps blemishes, and it firms the skin. It involves lactic acid, and it has vitamin C, another very important ingredient. So from AM to PM, it's your answer 24/7 to healthy, glowing, youthful skin.
So, to get you jump started, everybody in the audience is going home with both of those products. You can go to robinmcgrawrevelation.com and you can go to drphil.com and click Get Tickets if you want to be in the audience. We'll see you next time.